Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Caitlin Carmichael about Midnight in the Switchgrass coming out this Friday, July 23rd. Welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me, Pete.
I'm really excited to chat with you. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, people see the trailer for it, the movie is going to be released. I mean, this is an amazing cast. Simple question. What was it like working with this amazing cast?
We have such an incredible ensemble to bring this movie to life.
Yep.
And I think we couldn't have really had a better cast to round out our ensemble, especially in the midst of a pandemic. We were shut down twice during production just to keep our cast and crew safe.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing how loyal these actors were, who they were so dedicated to bringing these characters to life. It was really inspiring, their undying loyalty to this project in the face of all of the uncertainty. And no one chose the route of leaving these and causing us to have to reshoot anything. Every single person stuck with their roles and bringing this story to life. And that was really inspiring to me to see.
Absolutely. And, compared to things you've worked on in the past, like project-wise, this had a lot of action, this was crime, had drama. This was a little different compared to other things that you've worked on in the past. What was that kind of experience like and mindset for you?
I've played characters who have been kidnapped before, but this was the first time that I was playing someone in a narrative that's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So our film is based on the real Highway Serial Killings Initiative, where FBI agents partnered with local sheriffs to track a series of murders where the suspects were long-haul truck drivers who were kidnapping and abducting these women in so-called high-risk lifestyles. So bringing life that had a sense of truth to it and serving as a representation for a real story gave the role so much more depth to it right off the bat.
100%. Obviously, storytelling and acting is something you wanted to do. Were you hoping you were going to be able to kind of play like a lot of different roles? Because if you look at what you've played, they're all kind of different projects a little bit. Did that just kind of happen, or or was that something you were like hoping, like you wanted to kind of show your like versatility with what you could do acting wise?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the luckiest thing that I've experienced to not have a specific role or identity that I've been typecast in a way, and having the opportunity to get to experience working in different both movies and TV, playing different types of characters and lead roles, supporting roles, like testing the waters of all different kinds of identities is something that I feel very lucky to have gotten to do as an actor. It kind of just went into place in that way.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things happening in the film, and there is a lot of growth going on with a lot of characters in the film as well, even though it's one film. It's 90 minutes, so to speak, and everything. Is that something you notice when you're reading the script for this? Like how much the characters go through a lot, and there is a lot of growth, and there is a lot of arc there as well.
There is an element that I definitely notice in the script and when reading on the page, but seeing the movie edited together, I'm such a visual person, so it's really easy for me to see how all of the characters come together and all of the scenes that I didn't get to watch being filmed. It really helps everything track for me.
Oh, absolutely. When did you decide that acting specifically was something you wanted to do? Was there something you were drawn to? Like, did you start maybe in theater or other kind of storytelling? How did you become basically an actor, so to speak?
Okay, well, you said when did you choose? And I was going to say I didn't, but that sounds horrible. I started acting when I was 3.5.
Wow.
So fell into place that way. I came out to LA on vacation and an agent approached me and said, can I talk to her? And I was super extroverted as a toddler and just wanted to talk and talk. And he was like, she would be great for this. So it kind of fell into place that way. And I've really just grown up having acting as the central part of my identity. Another thing I feel really lucky for is that a lot of kids and teenagers, as they're growing up, have to try a bunch of different hobbies and figure out what their thing is and what they're most passionate about. And I've kind of grown up having that right in front of me.
Yeah.
And anything else I did on the side was just for my personal amusement or for fun. But I've really always known acting is who I am. And I guess just because the circumstances were I was fortunate enough to have them lay out for me in such a clear trajectory.
Absolutely. What were some learning experiences working on Midnight in the Switchgrass? I mean, we talked a little bit at the top about how amazing the cast was, but and there is a lot kind of going on, like you mentioned, like a kidnapping and everything. For you as a storyteller, what were some learning experiences and takeaways after working on this project?
There is a really crucial theme in our story that I think is so interesting to watch when it's translated on screen. And it's this power of female unity and how our women characters come together to save themselves in the story, but also to save each other
Yeah.
and find a sense of strength within each other to overcome these horrible circumstances that they're facing. And I think that's something really powerful that us as storytellers and viewers can take away from this movie.
100%. In terms of promotion and content, Instagram and TikTok is really big as well about promoting things and using it as a marketing tool. I'm just curious, do you separate to you, is it all storytelling when you post something on Instagram or TikTok? Or do you kind of separate the kind of storyteller acting and then that's like your content creator? Or is it all kind of one in your opinion? Because it's a tricky one, right? Because it kind of they
That's an
overlap.
interesting question. That's a really interesting question. I've always treated social media as something that was more personal to me. I like being transparent, and even if that means being more active and showcasing what I'm actually doing in my daily life and not
Mhm.
really trying to hide that. But there always is a temptation, especially with things on social media, to do a second take of videos that you're filming or filtering on your photos. There's always a sense of almost like in a way that creates a separation between the person posting something and the people who are receiving it. But I always try to keep my mindset at least as to being as personal as possible. I don't see where there's really a reason not to. I don't like to try to be something that I'm not on social media and try
Because
to keep that in my mind.
I 100%. I find it interesting with TikTok because I interviewed, a band recently. They're very popular on TikTok, Adam and the Metal Hawks, for their like rock and roll covers and everything. And it's funny because they even said they're like, yeah, they play music and they're musicians, but like when they go on TikTok, it's like they're content creators. Like they're content creators who play
Interesting.
music.
Interesting. That I know there's definitely types of videos you can make on social media, like skits or performative type things, but I definitely don't see the need to actually convince it as a lie per
Yeah.
se. Like if someone's commenting, asking a question about it, I mean, there's no reason not to be honest. I think when the facetiousness kind of comes in, it's only when people forget that they're actually talking to another person on the receiving end of whatever they're posting. Like
Yeah.
keeping open communication with your followers is something that's really important to me. Whether it's I love doing like the question polls on Instagram just to actually talk to people, and I think
Mhm.
it's helpful for me in reminding myself that the people who are receiving my content are real people. It's not just a
Oh, 100%. I just find it so fascinating in terms of a lot of people. They get this big they get like kind of this platform and this following, a lot of the fans from all over the world, and then they can kind of use it as however they please, basically, to promote a movie or to make their own content. Like I just feel like that's a really interesting perspective of it as well. So that's why I just
there's so much versatility involved, and people can really manipulate is a bad word, but kind of manipulate their image in certain ways. It's really interesting as an actor to have that tool promotionally as well.
100%. So Midnight in the Switchgrass, I mean, they obviously answer those questions. You hope they enjoy it. You hope they watch it, recommend it to their family and friends. Diving deep into it a little bit more, when people watch this film, Caitlin, what are you hoping they get out of it?
I think as I was conveying to you what I took away from the movie, this sense of sisterhood and female unity is a hugely important theme, but also there's an element of reducing the stigma around women living these high risk lifestyles as well. I think our criminal justice system can often tend to devalue these women's existence and treat them inhumanely. Emil Hirsch has a great line of saying that he's looking out for these women just because they've had hard luck in life doesn't make them any less of a human.
Yeah.
I think that's another really like deeply political, personal theme that viewers can take away on the utmost depth of our movie.
Absolutely. And it comes out Friday. Has it hit you that it's finally out? I find it's a weird that's always a weird situation. Like you make this movie and then you wrap and then you're kind of waiting for it to come out and maybe like you don't know right away when the release date, but like I mean it's coming up pretty soon. Like how what's
It
that been like
is.
for you?
It didn't really hit me until last night at our premiere, actually, being that I was watching the film with people who weren't just our immediate cast and director. It was really surreal to me. So I'm excited for the world to be able to see it. And I think, again, having social media as that kind of tool, being able to see other people's reactions about it is something really fun that I'm excited to try.
Absolutely. And you're acting in this film. You kind of mentioned in the beginning when I was talking about like content creation and you getting into acting. I found that interesting where you want to do a lot of different things. I mean, a lot of people end up, not just acting. They go behind the camera as well, and they produce, write, direct. Obviously, maybe acting is something you kind of want to focus on right now, but have you thought about it deeply in terms of like wanting to kind of produce, write, direct, Caitlin? Have you thought about that at all?
I have, Pete. I'm an American Lit and Culture major at
Wow.
UCLA. I just declared my film minor so that hopefully I can really start to branch out and exploring the history of filmmaking and grow as an artist behind the camera as well as a future writer, director, producer. So I'm really excited to see where that takes me. You hit it spot on with that question and what's been on my mind lately.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So the film comes out July 23rd. People are going to be able to watch it. And like we said, great cast, a lot going on. It's a wild ride.
It really is. I'm so excited for everyone to be able to see it.
Absolutely. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at reallycaitlinxox, and my Twitter is reallycaitlin.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Caitlin Carmichael from Midnight in the Switchgrass coming out July 23rd, and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.